God gave Israel one warning after another. God gave Israel one encouragement after another. God gave Israel one plea after another. God gave Israel one prodding after another. Why? So that they get out of their huddle and make Him known. And finally, around the period of 700 years before Christ, you see the God beginning to reveal the rest of His plan to humanity as the prophets Isaiah and Jeremiah and Ezekiel, one after the other, began to unfold the plan of God, withdrawing His commission and giving it to His Son, the Lord Jesus Christ. What was it? God is going to send from the descendant of Abraham His only begotten Son, and He is the one, when He's lifted up, draw all men to Himself. And that is why you find that in the very Gospel of Matthew, if you read it very carefully, is the deliberate comparison between Israel, the nation, the Son of God who is disobedient to the commissioning of God, compared to Jesus Christ, the obedient Son who is obedient to His Father. But I don't want you to miss this point. If you missed everything I've said so far, please don't miss what I'm going to tell you. Because history repeats itself with precision. It really does. And that is why repeatedly the Lord Jesus Christ spoke to His disciples, spoke to His followers about witnessing and not committing the sin that Israel committed of getting into a huddle and become self-centered and become self-focused. In fact, we know only 5 times, 4 in the Gospels, 1 in the book of Acts, but in reality, I have no doubt in my mind that those 50 days between the resurrection and the ascension, the Lord Jesus Christ repeated it over and over and over in their minds so they can get it. Be my witnesses. As I said, as the Father sent me, I send you. Make disciples of all nations. That the task of witnessing and making Christ known is not relegated to the professional evangelists and preachers and teachers. Not at all. In fact, if you look at the 500 people that Jesus was commissioning at that time, none of them were professional priests or rabbi. None of them occupied prominent places in the synagogues. None of them who had degrees in philosophy and art. None of them. He said to them, I am going to be with you, and that's enough. That's all the qualifications you need. That's all the equipping you need. That's all the tools you need. Even in church history, we see example after example of how when God's people ignored His commission, God's spirit of witnessing moved on. Even the disciples in the book of Acts who have heard from the lips of Jesus the commission about going out and making Him known. They got into a huddle in Jerusalem. And the book of Acts tells us that God sent persecution so that to force them out and take the gospel out.